All right, we are live. It is fight night, everybody. UFC 260 kicks off in around 30 minutes or so. Of course, it's going to be capped off by the heavyweight championship of the world being on the line. Stipe Miocic defends his title against Francis Ngannou in a rematch from UFC 220. We know how that fight went. We know the roads these gentlemen have taken, and now their paths will cross once again inside the octagon to close up the festivities tonight. As we welcome you to the People's Pre-Fight Show. This is your show. We want you to ask all the questions, give all of your thoughts, and we're just going to address every single one of them, like Scott McCray right here. That's right, Scott. We are live. I am Mike Heck, being joined by the Prince of Positivity, my co-matchmaker, my best friend, Alex K. Lee. How are you, sir?
Hello, my best friend. I have gotten myself appropriately jazzed up for this card, which I know hasn't always been the case during the week. Not only for us, but I think for some of the fans, some people looking forward to having to decide whether to purchase this or not. But I think, again, 30 minutes away, and I'm starting to feel a little bit of electricity.
That's right, and of course on the ones and twos in the truck with the fireplace in the truck. That's pretty awesome. Casey Leydn, Casey Leydn. What's up, buddy?
Just excited for some fist fights tonight. I took a little pre-fight nap, and I'm now officially over. I've gotten over the fact that we aren't going to see Volkanovski versus Ortega. But we have the championship tonight. The baddest man on the planet versus the other baddest man on the planet, and they will punch each other for our entertainment. So yay!
That's right. There's nothing like a heavyweight championship fight, ladies and gentlemen. And for those watching right now on YouTube and on Twitter as well, leave your questions. We'll address them. Leave your thoughts on the card. If there's a low-key banger that isn't getting enough love, that's what the show is here for. We'll give it love right here. We will discuss it. Do we have anything at this point?
Let me see. What's our first one? Oh, yep. First one.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah, listen, that is a question. That is a question. And the answer is no. It is not my birthday. I appreciate all the positivity. I appreciate all the well wishes. It is not my birthday. I want to make that very clear. Thank you, Corey.
That's weird because you messaged me. Do I need to put screenshots? You message everyone on Slack all day like, hey guys,
do not show the receipts. Do not show the receipts. All right. Thank you, Corey, for the well wishes.
All right. Here we go.
According to our viewers, AK is like 12,000 years old because it's his birthday every freaking day. All right. Sean O'Malley this week thinks he's entering 13-0. Is he in the right frame of mind considering this is his first fight outside of his loss to Cheeto? I find Sean O'Malley very interesting heading into this fight because a lot of people kind of look at him as a sore loser, and he's been pretty much asked straight up, like, how are you handling losses? Like, are you a sore loser? And he said, like, if he lost any other way, he would accept it and say he's 12-1. But because he lost the way he lost, he's not considering it a loss. AK, what do you think of this approach by one Sugar Sean O'Malley?
I hate it. Look, that's my blunt answer is I hate it. But to elaborate, we know that fighters, I would say all athletes, but especially fighters, it's particularly devastating, I think, when you lose a fight. It's a fight. It's not like losing by a score of a game. It's like you got your butt kicked. It's a real blow to your ego, and fighters have to do all kinds of sort of mental gymnastics and things to kind of rebound from those things. Everyone does it differently. Some people can embrace the loss right away and figure out what they did wrong. Some of them kind of bluster and kind of pose for a while, and which is a little bit of what O'Malley did. He's made he's done a lot of interviews. He's been asked about that fight 500 times now, and he's given little hints, shown cracks that he understands what he did wrong and that he lost, but he's always maintained at the end of the day that he does not feel that was an official loss. He has all kinds of reasons for it. So I don't love that. I like to see guys. I don't know. I don't mind people making excuses for losses, but at least acknowledge the loss. And if you want to find all these reasons, like, oh well, if this hadn't happened and this hadn't happened, I would have won. I mean, that's fine. But him saying that he hasn't lost and he's undefeated, gosh, it's just so questionable. And I don't like it, especially going in against a more experienced, dangerous guy like Thomas Almeida. I'm sure he's taking Almeida seriously, but I don't know. I do think you lose a little bit of edge when you don't learn from your losses, which is like something all champions have to do, I feel.
I disagree.
Casey, you're shaking your head.
I disagree with you. Sean O'Malley says a lot of problematic things in general. But him talking about shouldn't count as, well, mentally shouldn't count as a loss. I totally get. You said when you take a loss, you got your butt kicked. He didn't get his butt kicked. He got kicked in the ankle, and he rolled his ankle, or he hurt his shin. I don't know. He obviously has some sort of leg issues that is a problem, and hopefully, for his own sake, it doesn't come back to really hurt him. But I get it. You know, it wasn't like he was just getting beat up bad, and then then he decided to roll his ankle. The fight kind of was over before it started. So yeah, I get it, and I don't mind that mentality, and and fans and media and fighters, I mean, not fighters, but fans and media, we hate when, we just don't like when fighters don't admit they lost. So unless at the beginning of the fight, right before the fight, when Buffer reads his record, he grabs Mike and corrects Buffer. Actually, I'm 13-0, Bruce. Outside of that, I get it. It's fine. It's good. It's, confidence is key in this game. And like you said, what was he supposed to learn from that loss, Alex?
I mean, you're taking a lot away from. You're acting like Cheeto Vera had. We haven't even said Cheeto Vera's name during this discussion.
Cheeto Vera's not fighting tonight. He's not fighting tonight.
But as if his efforts had nothing to do with it.
No, like Cheeto Vera got the win. He got the win. He got the extra check.
No, but this
he got the extra check. But what was Sean O'Malley supposed to learn from that fight? What was he supposed to learn from that fight?
Did Cheeto Vera beat him?
Yes.
He's not acknowledging that. He's not acknowledging that.
I consider this a lot like when Brent Primus beat Michael Chandler. What's the difference? What was the difference?
I think,
and I'm not. I think there's a rematch.
I think Marlon Vera. I think if you watch the two fights, I think you can draw a more direct line between the injury that happened to O'Malley and Vera's tactics. I mean, Primus too. I get it. Primus was attacking the leg as well, but that just seemed a lot more freakish. I think again, I know there's similar circumstances, but there's definitely differences if you watch the two fights. I'm definitely correct.
Thank you very much.
No, I said they're not the same. You're saying they're the same.
I edited it. You said it was the same.
Oh, damn it. He's got final cut privileges. How do I beat that?
Do you think Sean O'Malley is a worse fighter if he comes out tonight and if he came out during training camp and be like, man, I got my butt kicked by Cheeto Vera. I got to change everything about my way I fight.
I'd say change everything.
Sure. What's he got to change? He's like, he got to.
Whatever led to him losing that fight.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He lost the fight. Yeah. He lost the fight.
I know, but how does that affect him in this fight?
It's the oldest cliche. You have to acknowledge history or you're doomed to repeat it, right? I mean, don't we learn that in school? When I don't know. I didn't finish in school, but that's what I've heard people learn in school.
That's what people tell me people learn in school.
Yeah, it seems like an appropriate idiom here.
I'm saying there's not too much to take away from that. Yeah, sorry.
Whatever. No, I mean, whatever he's doing, him saying that has put extra attention on the fight. So I will give him that, because I always put out like these little tweets like 4 or 5 hours before a fight. Like, what's the under the radar storyline that nobody's talking about? It was like overwhelming, this fight, O'Malley versus Almeida. Everybody's intrigued by it. And you have to believe that a piece of that is because of how O'Malley's handling the loss to Cheeto Vera. And I do think there's a difference between the Vera win and the Primus win. I feel like if those people didn't pull the stool out from behind Michael Chandler, he didn't fall on his ass, that fight would have gone to a second round. Like, I felt like that was just so freakish. But Cheeto actually dropped him with the leg kicks, beat him up on the ground, and the fight was stopped by the referee. So it wasn't like he just landed one kick.
But this was after his leg was all compromised. This was after his leg was compromised. Now, O'Malley does have serious issues with his legs in general, and are they too fragile? Like, I'm thinking, I mean, dude's like, what is he, 5'11"? He comes in at 135. He's my height.
He's a very tall,
I'm 5'11". He's 5'11". Like, me ever making 135 pounds just sounds just insane. And that comes at a cost. And maybe that cost is just there's his muscles and his bone density for his legs just aren't durable enough at this level of the sport. That is a big issue, and that could affect his whole career. Because, was the when he fought Sumata, I can't say his name. Sumata. Like, remember that fight? Like, we were just yelling, dude, just stand up, Sumata, and he would win the fight. If he just stood up, he would have won the fight, because O'Malley his leg was all compromised in that fight too.
I'll never forget it.
So
I'll never forget it.
expect Almeida to kick the heck out of every part of Madley's leg tonight. To really
that should be a
that.
strategy, right?
Yeah.
Kick, punch, elbow, everything. Like he should literally, as soon as they say go, he should sprint across the cage and kick him in the shin.
If he catches a kick, like a high kick, I want to see him headbutt it. I want to see him catch the kick in the shoulder. It's like
Every limb, poke at it, like no matter what, just touch.
I want left
touch
way.
the bottom of his leg.
Left way tactics.
Yeah. And it's important. It's for O'Malley.
Right.
He knows he has a loss. Like he but he's like mentally in my head, I'm still an undefeated fighter, and I get that.
Yeah. I see a comment. I don't think this bears a full all of us attack. Just Mariners fan asking, why do you guys think Almeida has fallen off like he has? We kind of touched this on earlier shows. Has he really fallen off? His losses are to Cody Garbrandt, Jimmy Rivera, Rob Font. The Jonathan Martinez fight, sure. Maybe you could
45,
say
but that's a different thing.
It was 145, and also Jonathan Martinez is good, and it was a long layoff for Almeida. So if you want to point to that one fight as like being concerned, then fair enough. But the other losses, Rob Font, Jimmy Rivera, Cody Garbrandt, they're just really good fighters. Someone has to win, someone has to lose those fights. But we will see tonight though. But I also think Sean O'Malley's a good fighter. So I don't even know if he gets knocked out tonight. I don't even know if it's like, oh wow, Almeida's really done. It's like Sean O'Malley's good. So it is just a level of competition. You make your way to a certain level of competition. Sorry, and it's like you might not be a top 10, top 5 guy. So yeah, but I nothing necessarily wrong with Almeida.
The hell is that?
No, I clicked the wrong one.
Kick punch. The rapper said exactly. It's all in the mind. Kick punch. It's all in the mind.
Kick.
Exactly.
That's right. Man, I forgot the rap. Oh man.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about Prop the Rapper. All right,
it's a good fight, man. I'm looking forward to it. It's the old Almeida smile was back, which I like.
I was a bit bummed he didn't wear the sunglasses on the face-off. His little kind of big Terminator glasses, but
he did during the weigh-in.
He did during the weigh-in.
To the point where we were like,
he might have been rushed. Yeah, we didn't know who it was. Like, who is that guy?
We didn't know who it was plus the mask. What was I going to say? Oh yes, what's funny is we're kind of like criticizing the card for being. It's a little, again, it is sort of a weak card on paper without the second title fight, but it's like Woodley versus Luque would be an excellent fight night main event. I think O'Malley versus Almeida would also be a pretty cool fight night main event. So it's weird. It's kind of like you've got two fight night main events on here. But it's like it doesn't. But it looks, it doesn't necessarily sell a pay-per-view. It's kind of weird. It's like they feel both those fights feel very fight nighty.
When a pay-per-view has one title fight, which is nice, you always need one good title fight, and this is an excellent title fight. You kind of expect that co-main event to have at least a number one contender status. Unfortunately, there's really no number one contender status. This is just people that need to win on this card. Versus like Woodley coming off a couple of losses, Almeida coming off a couple of losses, O'Malley coming off a loss. So it's not like guys are on big win streaks to kind of keep shooting forward. After the main event, it's mostly about guys just trying to get back on track. So I get why people are hate on this card, and because it's $70 too. So if you can afford it, pay for it. Otherwise, just
don't use that stimmy though. Don't use that stimmy though. Don't use that stimmy. If you're on the borderline, you're like, come on, guys, use your stimmy for baby food or what have you.
Wait, hold on. Wrong screen. Let me switch screens.
I will say there was one of these people's pre-fight shows where I said I see a lot of decisions on a card. Tonight I see a lot of finishes, a lot of them.
I'm the opposite. I'm going decisions.
In our stat picks, I picked 80% finishes tonight.
I saw.
80%.
I know. I was like, man, I'm the other way. I'm like, I'm going 40%. So I'm a half of a half. Yeah, half.
Predictions for Azaitar versus Bariullt. I have one word: pain. That's gonna be wild, man. These two dudes are gonna throw hammers at each other until somebody falls. That's how that fight's gonna go. They're just gonna stand in the pocket and throw absolute bombs at each other until somebody falls. I'm excited for it. I'm leaning Azaitar, but I mean, this is one of those fights where it could go either way because of their styles and how those styles are gonna collide, which is just going to be in heavy fisticuffs. AK, I'm sure you're going with your brethren, are you not?
I'm not. I'm going reverse jinx. Not that I believe in this sort of thing, and I believe I'm just taking a quick look at it. I believe I went Azaitar. I also think Azaitar is a good fighter. It's just kind of weird because he's coming off this big layoff, which is what makes this. I think why maybe Matt Bradbury wants to ask this question is like. So you have Azaitar, who before he went on this pretty long layoff of almost 1,000 days, look good, look like a pretty good guy to watch at middleweight. I think was his win overturned? Was his last win also overturned? I'm mixing up my notes here now because he did debut, and I thought he won. He got a knockout, right? Oh, he won a unanimous decision. I'm sorry. He beat Vitor Miranda, so he won a unanimous decision in his debut. But he's a good fighter. He came in with quite a bit of hype behind him, and then he had this long layoff. Bariullt is almost overturned. The same. Yeah, it was overturned. What am I thinking of?
The Bahota.
I was talking about Azaitar. Yeah, I was talking about Azaitar. I thought Azaitar's fight last fight was also overturned. But yes, exactly. And Bariullt is weird because it looked like he turned the corner in the last fight, which I guess he did. Again, we should just count it as a knockout. The whole Austrian thing is very fishy. We had a lot of fighters that kind of got busted for that, and then they had to, there's a whole deliberation to kind of sort out that mess. But either way, it was overturned to a no contest. Piakota is not like the best middleweight with respect to him, and so I don't know. I don't know how to gauge Bariullt. I don't know if he really is because he also came with a lot of hype. So we have two guys who came with a lot of hype, and for various reasons that hype has simmered. And now they have this look. They're kicking off the early prelims, so they're the first. They'll be the first fighters people see tonight, and that's good. That's a good spotlight for them. But yeah, I'm going with Azaitar, and I actually think it's going to a decision because Bariullt, even when he's in these kind of swanging and banging fights, they usually go the distance. Maybe it's just the guys who's fought are really tough, but I think it feels like a very middleweighty kind of brawl. So I think you will see these like pretty cool like bursts of wild action, but I don't know if anyone lands a kill shot in this one. So I'm going Abu Azaitar by decision.
All right.
There you go, Matt Bradbury. I hope you like that.
Who with the win can seize the post-fight mic opportunity? So I guess the question is, who has the ability to cut a good promo tonight and make a huge leap? Maybe a call out, maybe Chandler-esque, quoting Ric Flair from the 92 Royal Rumble. Something like that. Casey, what do you think? Who has the personality to, as the pro wrestling fans say, get over tonight with the win?
Two people. I don't believe he'll win. I'm picking Almeida, but I believe if Sean O'Malley has a big win tonight, he will drop a great promo. But my dark horse best promo of the night will actually be from Miranda Maverick tonight. We're going to see something we've never seen in her personality. I don't know what's going to happen. She might suplex Anik or something, but but one of those. That's my prediction. I think the rest of the fighters, I don't see anything big from Woodley. Luke, he's Mr. Nice Guy, and
AK?
I'm not picking either of these guys to win, but I feel like one of these Aussie guys, I should say Aussie or New Zealander guys. Sorry, that's a terrible thing to get mixed up. But I feel like a Jay Malarkey or a Shane Young, if they pull out a win, are just waiting. Malarkey especially, I'll go specifically Malarkey because he's been involved in some really exciting fights. He hasn't quite been able to get over that hump and actually get his hand raised. And I just get the sense he's going to say some wild stuff if he gets a win. If he beats Kama Worthy, I do think there's some Aussie, oi, oi, oi. Well, would you even do that with an empty crowd? That kind of affects this whole question is like how much can people let loose when there's really no one around?
It's the best if you do it in front of no crowd and you just kind of wait.
Aussie. All right. Well, okay. Well, he'll have his corner. So I'll go with Malarkey. I think Malarkey is just stewing. I think this guy has. I feel like he has something to say, and I think he's stewing, and I think he's waiting. He needs that mic time. Again, he's 0-2 so far, so he hasn't had that chance yet, but. I'm gonna go with him if he does manage to get past Worthy. Yeah, let's go with Malarkey.
Right.
I'm going with two as well. One is, in my opinion, the most underrated interview in the sport right now. Kama Worthy. He has a chance to spit some fire. He's great. The other, this is the best answer possible. If Abu Azaitar wins and then reveals what was actually in the bag, he's a hero. He's a legend. He's a legend. There you go. There's your answer.
Can you? They should give him permission to do that.
My God! If he you just blew my mind. They should
give him permission.
If he wins, if he just wins, and when Jake the Snake won a match, he brings the bag out and Abu just brings out a bag and he just dumps potatoes out all on the cage and stuff, just like litters the canvas of potatoes. And he just rolls around them. I don't know.
He's just eating potatoes like apples in the back.
In between rounds, the corner's feeding potatoes, French fries, mashed, everything.
We should.
Oh man,
Ottman will probably be in his corner. I assume Ottman's in his corner, right?
Yeah,
probably.
Has to be. Okay, yeah. So that would be great. That'd be so great.
Oh man,
What's your favorite?
just lean into it. Lean into it.
Please, yeah, come on. What's your favorite way to eat potatoes, guys?
Raw. Just
Raw.
grab it. Just
Right out of the ground. Just right out of the ground.
I just like when you're at the supermarket and it's just like it's like just something to snack on while I'm doing it. Yeah, I just pull one out and just start munching on it.
Mashed rules. Thanksgiving rules. But I will say I tried something for the first time last week. Purple roasted potatoes.
Oh, what?
Awesome.
They are
unreal, dude.
They are good.
Unreal. There we go. Potato fever. AK, is Francis Ngannou's ego problem gone now, or will it still affect him tonight?
So it seems to be. I mean, he's said all the right things. He's had a big image rehabilitation since the Derek Lewis loss. I mean, I don't know if people remember how low people's opinion of Ngannou was after that Lewis fight. I mean, he was a joke. He was a joke. You know, some people had said he had kind of choked in the Miocic fight. You know, obviously because he lost all 5 rounds, and you know he didn't. All this talk about him being this installed berserker was like snuffed out. But then, you know, he could have gotten that heat back right away if if him and Lewis had lived up to the hype in anyway. And of course, turned out to be one of the worst fights in UFC history, especially relative to how it was billed. So his stock was low, and I don't remember if it was before that or after that his I don't know if it's his former coach now, Fernand Lopez, had said, "Yeah, listen, that fame kind of got to him a little bit," and how could it not, right? How could it not? So it was understandable. It was understandable, very believable. You know, if you into that sort of gossip, it was very believable. But since then, look, they've done a lot of anyone who's been keeping up with his camp, his video, all the videos, embedded everything. He's the super happy, smiley, humble guy. He's surrounded himself. He's got Eric Nixick in his corner. He's got Kamaru Usman in his corner now. I would assume the ego problem is gone. I think he had to go through these bumps and had to be somewhat, quote, humbled, however you want to phrase it, before reaching this point where he could get this rematch. So yes, I don't imagine that if he loses, I don't think it'll be for any ego reasons. It'll be because Miocic's the better fighter.
I think the most insane thing about this is like the reason we're even talking about this is because Dana White went like all in on how after the post fight for Lewis Ngannou, he went all in and said, "Oh, it's because of Francis' ego." It's like, bro, you're the guy that just a month ago told him that, dude, you can hit harder than a freaking car. And then like, dude, this guy thinks he can hit harder than a car. What's up with that? Like, it's like, I don't get it. It's like every single fighter has an ego problem. Sean O'Malley has an ego problem. That's kind of like you have to have an ego problem to fight at this super high level, And yeah, you get your butt kicked, and then you come back. But I'm super impressed how that just seems like a bad, like the Ngannou loss. The Stipe loss is like, okay, he wasn't ready for that. Stipe got him. The Francis and then the Lewis fight, okay, everyone gets a mulligan. Every fighter has that crappy fight. We just move on. That's all. Now if he does it again, that's another, and then there's a pattern. But the whole ego thing, I think it's funny because it all comes from Dana.
And his coach, coaching knows it.
Oh, dude,
coach knows it. Yeah, he knows it.
There's a lot of vibes reminiscent of 220 in the air heading into tonight. There really is. Just like, it's not like a full-on push of Ngannou like it was at 220 from a promotional standpoint, but the way people are looking at this, like I texted just because I was curious, like 10 to 12 people who like are casual MMA fans and was like, who do you think's gonna win? Every single one of them picked Francis Ngannou to win tonight. Not one picked Stipe. Not one. Even my older brother, I played golf with him today. Doesn't know much about the fight game. He watches every once in a while. I was like, who do you think's going to win? He goes, oh, Ngannou's gonna knock his head into the third row. I'm like, okay. I think I might believe. I don't know. I don't know. I'm so fascinated by this fight, but like, there's not a lot of Stipe love once again for the second time around.
I feel like there's some Chuck Randy 2 vibes, right? Because it's sort of the same way. Chuck was kind of this knockout machine, and then he ran to Randy and lost, and was just outskilled. But then by the time the second meeting rolled around, it did feel like, okay, well, now this is the time that Chuck's getting over the hump, and sure enough, he did, and never looked back. So that is the parallel I would draw here. I do think there's Chuck Randy vibes here, Chuck Randy 2. So if so, that bodes well for Ngannou, but we'll see.
Hey.
Good. Hey, John. Good. We like to see positivity, John. That's what we wanted from you. No more snarkiness. Yeah, we love the positivity.
Wait, is he spelling Ohio or just going
OH. I think he's
He
saying
wants us-
OH.
Okay. OH.
Io.
OH.
Shout out to Duval. Of course.
I
While we're
yeah,
here.
I appreciate, the residents of Ohio, constantly reminding themselves how to spell their state name. That's it.
Oh, whoa. All
good,
right.
man.
Okay. All right. Let's get a question up here. You can see we don't need to take a dig at the good people of Ohio. They already have to root for the Cleveland Cavaliers for God's sakes. Come on, let's leave it on.
Their college basketball team got upset in the first round of the NCAA tournament. I mean, God.
It's rough.
Okay, so we have this Russian bot YouTube comment, and I hope you know every single thing is a compliment in there. I'm not even gonna put them on the screen because I don't want to blow my own ego up, but like they're all compliments, by the way.
Okay, fair enough. What do we got, Casey?
It's not
Matt
Polish
Bradbury,
powdered
it's
potato. I'm trying to look at like the line movement.
I'm so happy.
Stipe, now a plus 130 underdog, so the line has
That's expected.
spread a little more towards Ngannou again. Woodley's a plus 200 dog. O'Malley's still the biggest favorite on the card. More money coming in on Alonzo Menafield.
Oh, O'Malley is the
Modestas
biggest favorite in the
Bukowski.
card?
Minus 320, biggest favorite on the card.
Well, he is undefeated, so yeah, I get it.
I'm saying that leads to some.
Alonzo Menafield, the second biggest favorite on the card against the newcomer
Any
Fabio
questions,
Chiron.
Casey? Any questions?
Is Thomas Almeida's job on the line tonight? I feel like this has been.
okay.
I feel like this is the question we're getting a lot of in regards to these like final two fights on or before the title fight. Almeida with the losses he done, Woodley with the losses he done. I don't know. What do you think about Almeida?
Even to some degree, I think Jillian Robertson is a bit of a crossroads. Not that she'll be released, but if she loses tonight, is she? We've seen a lot of. Is she a gatekeeper at age 25? Has she
Can't be
become
a
like
25-year-old gatekeeper. That's insane.
I don't know. People are asking, right? It's not. They don't see her as a 25-year-old gatekeeper. They see her as someone who's fought in the UFC. Well, now as of tonight, will have fought 10 times in the UFC and not really come close to like a top 7-8 position. That's kind of the. And so I understand. I still think there's a lot of time for her. I still think we haven't even seen the final Jillian Robertson. I understand. Once you reach the UFC level, you're under a different microscope. So, Jesse Ortiz, thanks for the question. I do want to say, I want to kind of lump all this together. Like Mike said, we kind of talked about Almeida a bit already. These are crossroads fights. These are legitimate crossroads fights for Woodley, Almeida, and again, I think to a lesser degree, Jillian Robertson. I don't think any of them necessarily get well. If I had to bet, I think Jesse's question is right. I think Almeida is the most in danger of potentially being released with a loss. I know Woodley's the big ticket item. I know he's the one that costs the most money to book. I get it. So that's why it sounds like his name would be on the chopping block. But I still think there's name value there that the UFC would want to squeeze a little more juice out of, to put it poorly. But if I had to wager who's at the crossroads and most in danger of going down a bad path with a loss, I think Jesse Ortiz is right. I'll go Almeida.
I think if a bad loss tonight, the easy answer is Woodley. I think his status in the UFC is definitely on the line, the biggest on the line tonight with a big loss. You talk about crossroads. That's what this fight is. That's why I'm saying there's really no number one contender fight, but in terms of storylines for these fighters in particular, I think it's a crossroads fight for Luque too. This is gonna be his third opportunity to fight a top fighter. High up. He's a co-main event on a big pay-per-view. If Luque loses this, he'll be completely regulated as that welterweight gatekeeper. And for Robertson, I think a loss won't be a big deal for her due to her age. But she is kind of slowly becoming, with a loss tonight, maybe like the Alex Caceres of the female flyweights. How many fights does Alex Caceres have? Like 20-something fights, but he's never made
20 in the UFC.
Over
20. Excuse me.
Over 20 UFC fights, and I don't think he's even sniffed the top 10. Maybe he kind of put his toe in for top 15. Now, Alex Caceres is obviously a great fighter, but he just can't, get over that hump. But the UFC books him correctly, so he doesn't constantly face these killers. He kind of faces prospects, then he faces the killer, gets killed, and he kind of rebuilds himself, and we're back at square one again. And but Robertson right now, with the way her record is and how often she fights, kind of feels the same way.
All right, we got about a little under 90 seconds to go with that. We could do some rapid fire picks.
Yeah, it's just yeah,
Rapid fire.
Yeah, what
All
we
right,
got?
AK, Kamaworthy, Jamie Malarkey. Who you got?
I'm going Worthy. I'm a believer in his talent, believer in his potential. I think he's a more talented fighter. I think he wins.
I go Worthy as well. Casey.
I'm going Worthy. I've sat through many more of his interviews, so I'm dedicated to the Worthy brand. I just know I know very little about Malarkey. I like his name though. It's fun to say.
Casey, Miranda Maverick, Jillian Robertson.
I think it's gonna be a Miranda Maverick showcase fight tonight. I think she's gonna look great.
Miranda Maverick. Jillian Robertson does not deal well with being on the back foot and being on her back, and Maverick's going to be, I think, super aggressive tonight and set the tone, and just and that's just not a situation that Robertson thrives in. So Maverick by decision.
I go Maverick by decision as well, but that first round is always dicey when you're fighting Jillian Robertson. So if she can weather the storm, she'll win the fight. Sean O'Malley, Thomas Almeida, AK.
Almeida decision. He's going to chew that leg up and wear O'Malley down. I don't think he gets the finish, but I do think Tomiñas will be back.
Thomas Almeida wins the first round and then gets knocked out in the second round. Casey, what do you think?
Almeida, second round KO.
Oh,
wow. Okay,
we're all over the place on this one. Wow. Okay.
I just think eventually O'Malley's going to touch him, and once he does, the fight's going to be over shortly thereafter.
I think O'Malley's not a 35er. I think he's too fragile. His body can't take the durability of it. So we'll see. Prove me wrong, Mr. Sean.
I wouldn't. If we see slow, methodical, technical Thomas Almeida, you guys may be right. Vicente Luque, Tyron Woodley, AK. Does Tyron Woodley get back on track?
I am of the. I've been discouraged a lot by Woodley's performance. I think Luque puts the pressure on him. I think we see the bad Tyrant tonight, unfortunately, and I think he loses another decision.
Casey, I don't think Woodley's old yet. I don't think he's ever going to fight for a title again, but I still think he's better than Luque, and Tyron Woodley will actually win a boring decision tonight.
I'm actually going Luque, and I think we are going to get a very exciting version of Tyron Woodley tonight, and that's why I'm picking Luque, because I think he's going to get himself mixed up in something he shouldn't be mixed up in, and it could end badly for him, but we'll see what happens. And then again, the heavyweight championship on the line. Stipe Miocic defends against Francis Ngannou. AK, are you going with Ngannou?
It is his time. It has to be his time, right? Come on, it's everything's falling into place for Ngannou. It has to be his time. Ngannou by knockout in round. First round. You know what? First round KO.
Casey.
Ngannou hurt Stipe within the first 30 seconds. Looks much like the first round of their first fight, but Francis composes himself and finishes Stipe off in the second round.
Stipe Miocic, fourth round TKO. Put it on the books, people.
How's he get TKO? But how's he get TKO? Does he kind of grind him out and there's like just a lot of elbows on the ground, kind of like how he beat Mark Hunt? I'm interested. I mean, picking Stipe TKO is fine. I'm just wondering what's the method?
I could see it ending similar to the second DC fight. I think he gets him. I think Francis starts to get tired, goes to the body, hurts him to the body, puts him down, and then finishes the fight with some ground and pound.
Dude, if Stipe can actually straight up win a striking battle versus Francis, that would be incredible. I'll be blown away if I see that. But if we see
Stipe Miocic, tornado kick.
Ooh, with his back against the fence, a little clinch work, a little dirty boxing is going to dig into that body because France is going to be tired. But it's going to be a great fight. I could be wrong. I have no idea what's going to happen, and that's why this fight rules. And we're going to talk all about it all night long. Jose Youngs is in Vegas right now. We'll have all your post-fight interviews with the winners on our YouTube page, which you're watching right now. And then we'll have the press conference. We'll have the post-fight show. All sorts of fun stuff. But for AK, for Casey, I am Mike Keck. We'll see you later on. Enjoy the fights, everybody.
Happy birthday, AK.
No.
Why'd you tell me? You just messaged me that was your birthday. This is weird. Now you make me look